Hello, my beautiful feathered tribe. Welcome or welcome back to Unbound Soul Tarot. My name is Helen and I am an empath as well as an intuitive tarot reader here on YouTube. So I have to say it feels so strange to be back. I know that it's been a while since the last reading that I've posted on my channel, and yeah, life has been hectic, but here we are. I am really excited to be doing this reading for you guys and to be delivering these new messages. So as you probably saw from the title as well, we are going to be looking at where your next breakthrough is coming from. So yeah, the whole process is pretty much the same as it always is. We have 3 piles in front of us to choose from. Starting from the left and moving towards the right. This is pile number 1, this is pile number 2, and this is pile number 3. So if you are new to this, just go ahead and take your time, take a few deep breaths, close your eyes if you need to really tune into your intuition and what your gut instinct or your heart or your third eye or whatever sense you are working with is saying to you. You will feel it in some part of your body, which pile is the right one for you. Now, if you don't really feel anything, or if you're just not too sure, you can't really choose or decide, just go with whichever pile like visually appeals to you the most, or whichever number is the most significant to you in some way, or even choosing randomly can sometimes still, get you the desired result that you are looking for, give you the messages that you need to hear, because your subconscious is still talking to you in some way, even if you are not consciously aware of it. But anyway, so now that whole spiel is out of the way, if you know which pile is yours, or even if you have several of them, you can watch as many as you like. I always say that. Then you can go ahead and click on the timestamp that I have listed for you in the description box or down in the comment section, and you can jump straight to your reading. Whenever you're ready, I will see you in your reading. Hello, pile number 1. I am so thrilled that you are here and that we are going to be diving into your reading. I hope that you're all doing well and that you have been doing well, or that you're at least enjoying your month of September so far. But anyway, let's get into the card that you chose. You chose this card number 25, reducing down to 7, which says the cave. Now, just a few things before we jump into what I'm feeling here. I do want to say, you do remember, hopefully, that this is a general reading, so don't take any messages that are not resonating with you too seriously, or you don't really even have to pay attention to them at all. If they are not resonating, they are most likely not your message, so you can just let them drift by and leave them as they are. Only take what resonates, okay? You always have that choice or that free will over your own life. And secondly, please bear with me because I haven't done a reading in a while and I may be a bit rusty. But yeah, let's see how this thing goes. So based on this card, pile number 1, the energy that I'm feeling here, just regarding your general situation right now, is that you have been doing your best, your utmost to go through some sort of a difficult passage. Things may have been, oh my God, I'm getting like super emotional right now for some reason. So yeah, I guess whatever this difficult passage is, it is definitely playing on your emotions. It has been an emotional roller coaster, I almost want to say. And yeah, it seems to be something that you have really battled with. Yeah, I kind of see you sort of coming out or moving towards the end of this dark tunnel. Like it may have been quite a long journey. It may have taken you a long time to get to this point. And just based on the illustration of this card, it does seem like the journey is not quite done just yet, but it seems like you are getting closer and closer. You're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel here. And the reason why I feel like it has taken you a very long time, or maybe you have even like made some progress at one point and then things have sort of like stopped or halted, or it's almost like you have been stopped like abruptly or something like that. And I'm seeing it because of this little like child fairy. First of all, because they are a child, so it seems like whatever this thing is, it's sort of like new territory for you, or you are not very familiar. You don't have that much skill set with whatever it is that you have been dealing with, and it has been a very a very huge learning curve for you, which is absolutely fine. It's like, that's what life is all about, right? That's the point of life. We are all faced with situations that at one point or another, test our skill set, or that are meant to push us past our sort of skills and talents and abilities that we have already mastered. And we are put in this like childlike energy again, where we do feel kind of helpless and lost and just like stumbling around because we don't know what we're doing. And again, that's absolutely like normal. Everyone goes through that, and it seems like you have been on such a journey right now. So yeah, it feels like life has been quite uncomfortable for some time. And again, it's like life has almost knocked you down on your knees. So you have had to relearn a lot of things, or just learn new things. For some of you, maybe it's some sort of skills or talents that you used to have, but that you stopped using for a while, that you stopped exercising for a while, and you've sort of forgotten how to use them properly. For others, it's something completely new where you are having to develop those skill sets from scratch. So take it as it resonates. I'm actually kind of like, I want to give you this example of my own like intuition and like that psychic sensitivity. I'm kind of feeling that vibe right now. That's how I'm resonating with this card myself, is like I haven't really exercised my intuitive muscles in a while, because it has been such a long time since I last did a reading. And so I almost have to like relearn or re-exercise them and get them back into the shape that they were before. So yeah, I don't know. It's just an example to give you guys of what I'm feeling, what the energy is like that I'm getting off of this card. But yeah, the good news is that you are definitely on your way to the end of that journey, or to the end of that like tunnel that you have been going down. And the funny thing is that child fairy has wings, right? So he or she, whoever it is, could fly, but they don't know how. So that's why I feel like, or maybe they do know how, but again, it seems like something has knocked them down on their feet. So yeah, I don't know. It's like the journey has been really challenging and really scary. Yeah, it's like you're afraid of falling, or you're afraid of, yeah, it just seems like there's a lot of fear that you have had to deal with. But anyway, that's sort of the energy that I'm feeling generally off of this card. But we're going to be getting a more detailed overview, hopefully, from these other oracle cards, which are actually going to be describing the situation that you are currently struggling with. So we are going to be getting a more clear picture of your current energy, and again, that way you will be able to discern more easily whether this reading is actually for you, whether this is resonating, because this initial energy is most likely something that you just sort of felt intuitively, or why this card pulled you in, why you decided to choose this pile. So if you are resonating so far, it's a very good start, and let's see what else we can find out. So okay, we have number 37 reducing down to 10, which further reduces down to 1. Descendant invitation. Okay, so again, number 10 is always an energy of cycles, something reaching its culmination point and preparing to sort of begin again or start again. So yeah, this card is definitely cyclical in nature, and so that sort of reaffirms this energy that I'm feeling of you sort of nearing a tough cycle of some sort. Okay, let's see what else. We also have number 21, reducing down to 3 with strategy. We have the Grail Knight, number 6, romance, illusion, seeking the sacred. We also have number 8, accelerated motion. And finally, we have number 4, badger spirit, be fearless and bold. Okay, so yeah, looking at these cards, pile 1, I'm not going to be taking too much time with them, just because it seems like it is pretty much confirming everything that we already talked about with this cave card here. The first thing that I'm noticing though, which is really interesting, it sort of like caught my eye straight away, was this Grail Knight card and how the knight is kneeling. And like the same thing sort of like really pulled me in on this cave card too, how the child is like, I mean, it's crawling, but it's still like, for some reason, the fact that he or she is on its knees, that's the thing that seemed to really like have significance to me, or I don't know, that felt like an emphasized point for some reason. And now I'm seeing it again here with the Grail Knight. So yeah, it does seem like whatever this journey is, this tough journey that you have been on, that you have had to navigate and sort of find your way through, it really seems to have done a number on you. I mean, even though the Grail Knight is in like, he's voluntarily kneeling, right? He's like kneeling out of respect or out of admiration, and like the reasoning behind it is different. It seems like significant for some reason. And just considering that we are actually focusing on the energy that you are struggling with and that you have been struggling with, all of these cards again seem to be talking about like finding your way forward, finding methods and answers and solutions to how to get to where you need to go. And especially with this descendant card, the descendant in astrological terms is the point where the sun sets. That's why it's called the descendant. And so it's like the setting point versus the rising point, which is the ascendant, right? And it says invitation. And to me, it's like, it's an interesting keyword here, but I do get the energy that the universe has like invited you to a new chapter or to a new journey, right? Out of your comfort zone, because again, something has sort of reached its natural end. You, for some reason or other, were not able to continue down that same path or down that same road that you had been walking down and that you maybe felt really comfortable in, whether it was a relationship, whether it was a job or career path, whether it was a living arrangement of some sort, whether it was a lifestyle or your mindset, your value system, whatever it was. It seems like something had its time and you were pushed into this new cycle. But clearly with strategy and accelerated motion, the actual movement element or progressive element, right? That seems to be something that you just didn't really know how to address. Or again, as I was saying, I kept feeling the energy of you like sort of stumbling a bit, or like life knocking you down on your knees, or you being halted at times, or where there has been like not even slow movement and slow progression, but like no progression at all. So maybe you have had to endure not really seeing any results, even though you have been putting in a lot of hard work and a lot of energy and a lot of effort. And so, especially with this here, which says seeking the sacred, that seems to be the most important keyword for me for some reason on this card. And so it does sort of seem like you have been trying to figure out the meaning behind all of these experiences that you have had. And I feel like you have had a really tough time with that. Like, trying to understand why you have had to face these challenges, why certain things haven't played out the way that you wanted them to, why you have been sort of like quote unquote punished with some things or put through some things, or why you have had to give up on some things, or why some people or some situations or some circumstances have left your life, why you had to lose them. All of these questions, it seems like you have been trying to find meaning or purpose behind them, and it just hasn't really been made evident to you. So with this Badger spirit, be fearless and bold, again, it seems like your courage, your stamina, your perseverance, all of these traits have really been put to the challenge or put to the test for you. And it's interesting that it actually uses the word fearless, because that's the energy that I was feeling with the cave card, right? That there is a lot of fear and that there has been a lot of fear. But I also feel like saying, especially because we have this descendant card here, which to me feels like very universal, almost like very fated, like this has been written in the stars for you, or it's something that you were supposed to go through. It was almost like something that you signed up for before reincarnating in this life. Whether you believe in that or not, that's besides the point, but it does seem like it's something that you were meant to go through. And I also feel that with this white feather here, even though I feel it's supposed to be a quill, right? But I do feel like that white feather, because that's a very like divine symbol to me. I definitely feel a connection here, and I also see it with this like what's it called? Falling star? No. Oh my god, I'm sorry. Shooting star. There we go. I also feel that over here. So there's a lot of like light that I'm also seeing. Like you can see that like sunset hue over here. You can also see the sun rays falling on the night on this card, and then obviously the light from the shooting star, and then we can see the light coming through the tunnel over here. So all of this light and all of this like divine symbology is making me feel like the universe is actually looking out for you, and the universe is actually protecting you through this. But it's something that they can't really do for you. It's something that you are meant to develop on your own. And that's why the journey has been so arduous and so challenging, and possibly very, very frustrating as well. Because it is frustrating if you are trying and you are just constantly being knocked down, or you're constantly being met with like another obstacle or another something that you have to, like another problem that you have to solve, or another solution that you have to come up with, when you are already like so tired from fighting all of these other battles, right? So yeah, it does seem like an uphill battle. And I mean, even on this card, you can see that the path is sort of ascending, right? It's like, yeah, it's an uphill battle. But you are definitely on your way to sort of getting to the end point there. Again, we see that over here, and we see that over here. So hopefully that is like assurance or a comforting message for you in and of itself. But that's really what I'm feeling here. I probably spoke a bit longer than I intended to, but anyway, that's what you get when I haven't done these readings in a while and things just sort of, pile up. But we are now going to move forward with the reading to the second part of this reading. So if you resonated with this section and this struggle aspect, then definitely keep on watching, and we are going to be figuring out where your next breakthrough is coming from. We are first going to look at where it's coming from, and then we're going to see how it will impact you moving forward. So what sort of like long-term impact or effect it's going to have on you. But let's see. Okay, we have the King of Pentacles first. We have the Page of Pentacles. And we have the King of Cups. Okay, that's interesting. So there is a lot of masculine energy here, which again, well, actually not again, sorry. I know I haven't talked about masculine energy in this reading, but I was just sort of focusing on that with the Knight here. But anyway, masculine energy is all about movement and action as well. It's about asserting yourself and expressing your willpower and sort of making things happen, really. That's what masculine energy is about. Putting things in motion, creating change, all those kinds of things. So yeah, it seems like things are going to be starting to move along here, but we will talk about that in a second. And finally, looking at how it will impact you moving forward, we have the Ace of Swords with the Knight of Cups in reverse. So the Grail Knight is sort of coming through again, which is interesting. And the Six of Swords. I love seeing that. Absolutely love seeing that. Okay, so let's start from your breakthrough. Now, the first thing that I'm noticing here with the King of Pentacles and the King of Cups is the astrological aspect of these cards. The King of Pentacles is a card of Taurus, and the King of Cups is a card of Scorpio. And I find it really, really interesting that, first of all, these signs are on the opposite ends of the astrological wheel. But the other thing that is interesting is that we are also going through the eclipse season involving Taurus and Scorpio, because the nodes are in Taurus and Scorpio. The north node being in Taurus and the south node being in Scorpio. So we are currently in that eclipse season, or actually we are starting another eclipse season very, very soon. But that energy of the eclipses is going to be with us for like another year or so. Maybe a bit less than a year, but definitely till the end of the year, and then a few months after that as well. But anyway, eclipses always bring about a lot of change. And I also find it really interesting that we are looking at the sort of the material aspect as well as the emotional aspect here. And with the Page of Pentacles being in the middle, it seems like you are learning to balance those two. Because the King of Pentacles is all about like material security, comfort, and safety. Feeling like you are safe, like you are guarded, like you are, you know, like taken care of. Like you don't really have to worry about anything. You are set. Whilst the King of Cups is very much in control of his emotions. He doesn't let the outside world impact what is going on within. So both of those kings are like very sort of composed and maybe even somewhat stoic in nature, but it's just because they possess a lot of self-awareness, a lot of self-control, self-restraint, self-mastery even. And so that's really what I feel like you are going to be going through. This seems to be like an aspect of yourself, really, or these two kings seem to represent like you, different aspects of you, and you learning how to cope with what life is sort of throwing in your way. And there's a lot of maturation here. You are reaching a lot of maturity, again, both like in a sort of physical sense, but also in an emotional sense. So it's like you are gaining the necessary skills and the necessary abilities and talents that will also help you sort of go through challenging situations in the future. You won't be as like phased by them as much. You won't be as like knocked down by them, because the Page of Pentacles is very much like a studious energy. It's an energy of taking in new information and finding new solutions. The Page of Pentacles is really capable and really, really smart. So you seem to be developing some really great qualities here. And because these are all court cards, they are telling me that the major breakthrough that is happening is happening regarding your sort of like personality or your characteristics. These changes are mainly about you, your persona, your identity, that type of thing. So yeah, it might not be that much like external, but this whole process, this whole journey that you have been on, it does seem to have mainly been about maturing you, or again, like growing some sort of skills or traits in you. Because from this cave card, remember we were talking about you being in this like childlike energy, or having to be in that child archetype, learning something again, or learning something completely new. And I feel like that's why this journey has been set out for you, so that you could grow, so that you could mature and gain the necessary knowledge and skills and capabilities that you are now going to be equipped with as you go through this journey. So it does seem to be that the breakthrough is happening within you, and you are sort of gaining a lot more solid footing, or you're going to be having a lot more of a sturdy feeling as you are progressing. Like, you're not going to be feeling as sort of helpless and lost as you were feeling. And again, with the King of Pentacles, I love that it's here, because it makes me think that you are going to be feeling a lot more safe and stable as well. The King of Pentacles is the most stable of all of the kings, and it does seem like that's what you have really been lacking, or you have been feeling like things have been really shaky and uncertain, and there hasn't been anything really to rely on too much. So I love seeing that. And also I feel like with both of these cards coming out as like pentacle suits, you are going to be starting to see actual like physical results, material results. So it's not just going to be all about sort of wishful thinking, or just holding on to some hope, or holding on to some bigger meaning behind all of it. You're actually going to be feeling like what you have gone through has had purpose. And I feel like that's what the Page of Pentacles is sort of representing. You seeing, you understanding, you comprehending, right? It's that learning aspect. But another thing, because these are court cards, I do want to point out that for some of you, this king could be sort of someone else. This King of Pentacles could be someone offering help to you, or if you resonate more with the King of Pentacles energy, you may be reaching out to someone for help, or for advice, for guidance, for support. And it seems like it's whatever case resonates for you, whether this is all talking about you, or whether this is talking about someone else as well that you can sort of turn to, or that is going to be offering their help to you. You are going to be feeling a lot more sturdy. You're going to be gaining a lot more stability. So that's really, really, that's really amazing. But now, looking at these three cards here, we have the Ace of Swords with the Knight of Cups reversed and the Six of Swords. Two cards here are Swords cards, and the one card that is reversed is a Cups card. And as I said, I do feel a strong connection to this Grail Knight energy here. So with this maturation process, it does seem like you're going to be, like, your viewpoint of things is going to be changing, or the way that you see life and the way that you see yourself is going to be changing as well. That's what I feel like the Ace of Swords is here to represent. You are going to be gaining like some sort of clarity, or the way that you, again, the way that you perceive life's challenges, because the Ace of Swords is about overcoming challenges with the mountains here. The way that you're going to be perceiving life's challenges is going to change, and I feel like it's going to turn into something much more like rational, logical, and sort of calm, cool, and collected, rather than being like very shaken up emotionally. And so that's why I feel like the Knight of Cups reversed is actually saying that, like, when you sort of started out on this journey, or when you were put against some challenges or tests, you may have seen them in a bit of a naive way. And I don't mean that to sound like like a judgment in any sort of way, because again, if we don't know what we're up against, we don't have any skill set to deal with it, how are we meant to sort of think about those situations or problems in a rational or logical or wise way, right? We can't, because we don't have the knowledge, we don't have the skills. So it's like, it's understandable. There was no other way that you could have seen these things that you were faced with. But with the Ace of Swords, it seems like there is going to be sort of a more clear, a more rational way that you'll sort of see life's challenges. And I feel like you're going to know how to deal with them more effectively as well. Again, it's not going to like throw you off course as much. It's not going to sway you emotionally as much. So I really do feel like you are gaining a lot of wisdom and a lot of know-how from this path that you're currently on, and from going through that path. And with the Six of Swords here, it seems like it's not going to be as difficult for you, or you will know how to move through those challenging situations in the future. Because the Six of Swords is all about moving forward. It's all about sort of facing reality, facing the facts, and not lingering in a situation that is not actually in your best interests. Maybe that's what you were doing before. Maybe that's what you had trouble sort of releasing before, and maybe that's why life pushed you into this uncomfortable space, because you just wouldn't move on your own. And again, it's a completely human thing to do. We crave comfort, we crave the familiar, we crave safety, but growth and expansion and learning is all about being unsafe and all about being uncomfortable. So none of us willingly choose to do that, and that's why life does that for us a lot of the times. And I see you sort of coming through that chapter, and again, gaining a lot of wisdom as a result, and learning to face life's challenges in a much more like rational, capable, and calculating way. Like you will have the clarity or the answers, and you won't be as like shell-shocked, or okay, maybe that's not the best word to use, but it's just the first one that came to me. You won't be as paralyzed by the changes that are happening to you. Because again, remember, we have this King of Cups here, so that there seems to be this like emotional maturing as well. And this trust that you will know how to deal with situations. You will know how to come out of whatever is whatever life is going to be throwing your way. But yeah, anyway, I don't know. I guess that's all I'm really feeling here. So I'm not going to, keep beating a dead horse. Let's just keep going to the last part of the reading, which is advice from Spirit to you regarding this spread. So let's see what Spirit wants to say to you. You're already doing it. Stop overthinking. Keep facing your true north. See? Exactly. You're already doing it. As I said, there's light at the end of the tunnel, and you are moving towards it, even if it doesn't wholly make sense to you right now, even if it feels like you don't know what you're doing. Clarity is coming. I definitely see that with the Ace of Swords. Success is coming. I definitely see that here. The Six of Swords also points to you moving to bigger and better things. So yeah, it's clear that you are already doing what you're supposed to be doing, even if it doesn't feel like it. And we also have Priestess. How are you being called to step up and lead? So yeah, again, as I said, there is a maturation element here, definitely. And maybe some of you are being sort of groomed for some sort of a leadership position or some sort of a teacher position, with, whatever this thing is that you are currently up against. Maybe as you reach the end or the culmination of that journey, and as you step into, the other side of that treacherous journey, maybe from everything that you have learned and everything that you have experienced, you are inspired to share your experience somehow, in like an artistic or creative form, and in a way that is going to help a lot of other people too. Because the Six of Swords can also be a card of like guidance, guiding someone else who is in need, and who doesn't maybe know how to find a solution themselves. So this could be you. This could be what you are going to be doing, or how you are going to be turning this situation into a more like positive or constructive experience for you. But anyway, I don't want to drag this reading on any longer, because I feel like I have been talking forever and ever and ever, and I'm sorry for that. And thank you so much if you're still watching. But to sum this reading up, pile one, I really do feel like the universe is definitely looking out for you, even if you can't feel their presence. They're definitely looking out for you, and you are so close to, I mean, you're not done yet, but you are very, very close to getting to the end of this journey that you are on, and gaining that like stability and clarity, and all of it sort of making sense. So just keep putting one foot in front of the other. Trust that your sort of instincts are all that you need to get you through, and that you will get to the other side of this. And it will take you somewhere better, and somewhere, you know, more aligned, because that's ultimately why we go through this growth and expansion thing to begin with, so that we could keep getting closer and closer and closer to what our hearts and souls are truly yearning for in this lifetime. So, yeah. Wow, pile number one. This was such a massive, massive reading, and I hope that it resonated. I hope that it was helpful. Yeah, I'm just going to leave it at that. Thank you so much for watching. It really means so much to me that you're here. And I would love for you to leave me some feedback as well, especially if this reading resonated for you or spoke to you in some way. You can leave me a comment in the comment section. You can also just give me a thumbs up. That helps my channel out as much, very much as well. And of course, don't forget to subscribe if you would like me to keep doing these readings, and if you would like to hang out with me in the future too. But yeah, if I don't see you in any of the other piles, please take care of yourselves, and I hope to see you very, very soon. Bye-bye. Hello, pile two. Welcome to your reading. I am thrilled that you are here, and yeah, just thank you so much. I hope that you're all doing really well, and that, you know, September and the time that we're in right now hasn't been too hard on you. I hope that you are hanging in there. But yeah, let's just jump straight to your reading. Just please remember, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. This is a general reading, and yeah, I guess that's it. So anyway, back to your card. So you chose this number 19, the Ancestor. Now, number 19 reduces down to 10, which further reduces down to 1. So there is an element of like this progressiveness, or this like transmutation, something ending and something new beginning. But with the energy of the Ancestor, it does seem like, it almost feels like nostalgic to me in some way, or like there is an element of yearning or missing, or trying to like get in contact with something or someone from the past, trying to like reestablish, I just heard reestablish, a sense of belonging, or a sense of like comfort, support, that type of thing. It just, yeah, I mean, even though this card would normally speak of like roots and background and all of that type of thing, I'm also feeling like there is an element of you missing something or someone from the past, something or someone that isn't around anymore, something or someone that has a lot of meaning to you, but that you're not able to reach. It does feel like this energy that you are yearning for because everything is energy. That's why I'm sort of using such a broad term, whether it is an actual person that you're missing, or a place, or a situation, a circumstance, you know, a relationship, a feeling, whatever it is. This energy that you are missing, I feel like you are just so like deeply connected to it, or you feel like you are still so incredibly strongly bonded or bound to that energy, that's why you are feeling this nostalgic. I almost feel like something, I don't know, I feel like something new actually like wants to come in, wants to start blossoming, like you can see from the bottom here, but it can't really do that. It's like the blossoming process is being what's the word, like blocked, or put on hold. Like there is a barrier there because something is just like, it's sort of stuck, it's stagnant. That's what I see, like this root, or this, it looks like a tree trunk, if I'm completely honest. Something is just like so solid and stuck that whole like blossoming thing can't really, or that blossoming process can't really happen. And I feel like it's because you haven't fully let go of that past energy. It's almost like you, again, like you want to resuscitate it, or you want to like re-establish the thing that once was. Again, whatever it is for you. So yeah, I don't know. Normally, I love this card. Normally, this card is such a like a warm and sweet energy. It gives off this warm and sweet energy. But right now, I'm not actually loving it that much, because I feel like the natural progression of things, the natural cycle of something being let go and released and sort of made peace with, and something new being welcomed in, it can't happen. It can't happen because you're holding on to something that once was. And again, you know, fill in the blanks yourself of how it actually resonates for you, or how it's playing out in your life. But that's what I'm feeling here. And so, yeah, if you chose this card, then subconsciously, most likely you are having a hard time letting something go completely. Even if you have like released it, even if you have forgiven and moved on, and you know, it does seem like in a physical sense, or in like a material sense, you have moved on from something or someone, but in an emotional, or like in an energetic sense, there is still a very strong tie there, or like a very strong cord that's in place. Anyway, okay, so that's what I feel off of this card. But we are now going to move on to these oracle cards that are going to be describing the energy or the situation that you are currently struggling with the most. So if you resonated with this, that's a good start. But based off of these cards and the energy that we are going to be diving into more deeply, you will get a better understanding of whether this is actually your pile or not. So let's see. Wow, okay, we have number 12, Pisces, sensitized. With Pisces being here, I just got hit very strongly with that nostalgia vibe again. Definitely a very strong nostalgia vibe. Okay, we also have number 22, and for some reason my voice is going away. So maybe you are not too happy with what I'm saying, and maybe you don't really like listening to these messages or hearing these messages. Yin and Yang. Okay. We also have the Bee with number 16, reducing down to 7. Luck, industriousness, sweet victory. Wow, we have another number 10 with destiny. And finally, we have number 1 and spirit, time to collaborate. Okay. Okay, pile number 2. So yeah, it does seem like you have been struggling a lot with allowing your destiny to unfold, or allowing your life to sort of move forward and actually receiving some results. As I was saying, I feel like something wants to blossom, and we have a lot of this like flower symbology here as well. Even on this card, isn't it like called, I'm not too like well versed in, is it like sacred geometry or something? But I think this is like the flower of life or something. I'm sorry if I'm like completely messing it up right now. But I think that's what this like shape is called on this destiny card. Anyway, I feel like there is a lot of flower symbology on these cards, and even with the bee card here, which is talking of luck, industrious, sweet victory. I mean, it's talking about like some sort of results, right? The bees producing honey, and that's where the sort of the sweet result aspect comes from. And that's why in a lot of these animal themed decks, the bee represents something sweet, something victorious, something awarding, or rewarding, I should say. But again, because we're looking at the struggle aspect for you, that's what you seem to have been struggling with. Actually seeing those things sort of come about, or acting, making choices, taking action to get these results, to allow these results to come in. And I mean, the reason why I'm talking about allowing so much is because of this destiny card. It's clear to me that the universe definitely wants to bring something or someone into your life, but I feel like you have had a difficult time accepting it, because this, like, whatever vision the universe has for you is clearly not aligning with what you are visualizing or envisioning for yourself. And so this card seems to me to be like the most sort of important card here, actually, this Ant Spirit, time to collaborate. Because it seems like you haven't really been collaborating with the universe, and you possibly may have been like working against the universe in some way. Yeah, I just feel a lot of like a very strong pushback on like progression, on new energy. There is so much feeling of like just wanting to hold on to what was. Again, with this Pisces energy, it's like so dreamy, so nostalgic, so like lost in past memories and sentimental energy, sentimental feelings. Like I don't know, but I'm it's just such a difficult sort of hazy energy. And I feel like because you haven't been able to attain what was, right? Because that's gone, that door has closed. It doesn't seem like you're able to bring it back, right? It's like the card here actually like is making me think of something that has like hardened into a rock solid form. There's no life in it anymore. There's no juice. There's nothing. It's just like an old, what's the best way to say it? It's like a fossil. That's what I almost want to say. I feel like whatever this thing is that you are missing, it's like a fossil, and there's no reviving it, even though that's what you really, really want. But thanks to that fossil and you holding on to it, especially with this card as well, like all of this green is making me think of like the heart chakra, which is in like color wise, it's represented very often as green. And even like this woman on this card is sort of holding her hands on her chest. So it seems like with your heart space being set on that fossilized energy, you are actually working against the universe and against the progression of life. With yin and yang, it's like, this is all about balance. And with 22, this is a master number as well. I feel like things are sort of very much out of balance. Yeah, and I feel like the main thing is like movement. Even though, no, actually, with yin and yang, I feel like both of these energies are misaligned. And again, I don't want this to sound judgy or criticizing in any sort of way. We're all human. We all do these things, right? We are all sometimes controlled by how we are feeling. Sometimes these feelings are very, very powerful. And especially if you are, in fact, a water sign yourself, like Pisces, or if you have a lot of water in your birth chart, that is Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces. Those are the 3 water signs in astrology. So if you have a lot of water in your birth chart, then obviously this energy is going to be even more sort of strong or palpable for you. But what I was trying to get at with this yin and yang card is that I do feel like both the masculine and the feminine energies are misaligned in you right now. The masculine is all about like taking action, asserting your willpower, making change happen or doing something. Whereas the feminine is all about like diving deep into the inner depths and being in tune with your emotions, being in tune with your intuition, listening to your inner guidance, being very like quiet, still, receptive, allowing the answers to come to you. And I feel like that aspect you have almost like blocked off in some way because you're stuck in that nostalgia energy. And because of that, you're also like refusing to take action and move things along, move things forward, because you don't want things to change. And again, there's nothing like wrong with that in that sense. It's human. None of us want things to change. I mean, yes, we want better, good, happy things to come to our lives, but the actual process of going through that change and letting go of what we are so used to, that's something that we are not so readily willing to do. So again, this is very like human, this is very normal, and I don't want you to feel like, you know, you're doing something wrong or something like that. But I just feel like this is what the universe really like wants you to like break through, because I do see with both of these cards, actually, especially both of these cards, I do see that the universe wants to bring something like really, really good into your life, something that would actually fulfill you emotionally and that would be in accordance with like some sort of a divine plan or like a soul plan. But it's just having a hard time doing it because you are currently working out cross purposes with each other, you and the universe. I mean, just wanted to make that clear. So anyway, if that's what you feel like you are resonating with, if that's your story, if you recognize it, and if you feel like you have had a hard time moving past whatever this thing or person or situation was that you don't actively have in your life anymore, then keep on watching because this is your reading. So next we're going to move on to these tarot cards and we're going to see where your next breakthrough is coming from and how it is going to impact you moving forward or in the long term. So wow, okay, I love it. The first card out, 3 of Wands. The Queen of Pentacles and the 4 of Pentacles. Okay, so this is your next breakthrough. Not surprised that the 4 of Pentacles is here because this is like the ultimate holding on to things for dear life sort of card in tarot. This is the main card. But let's see how this will impact you. Okay, we have Justice. Love seeing that. We have number 11 again, another master number. The King of Swords. And finally, the 4 of Wands. Oh my God, I love this. The 4 of Wands is my favorite card in tarot. Absolute favorite card, hands down. So first of all, when I look at these 3 cards here, the first 3 cards, which are talking about your next breakthrough and where it's coming from, especially the Queen of Pentacles is like the loudest card here. And to me, that is screaming acceptance. I feel like your next breakthrough is coming from an aspect of you like starting to embrace that change is inevitable, starting to embrace that like things just can't stay the way that they are and the way that they have been, and that you can't control everything in your life as much as you would like to, right? But I feel like you'll sort of start seeing how that's actually a good thing, how that actually keeps energy flowing, and how that keeps like abundance flowing into your life as well. Because I have to be honest with that, like trying to hold on to something from the past, that is screaming a bit of like lack mindset to me, especially with the Four of Pentacles being here too. This like holding on to dear life is actually blocking off energy flow, because behind the Four of Pentacles is fear. Behind the Four of Pentacles is the mindset or the belief that if you part with what is in your possession right now, or what you have, you will lose it. It will not be replaced. It will not be compensated for. And you will be missing out, basically. You will be losing something forever. And that's not actually the case at all. But that's the lack mindset talking. So I feel like right now that aspect is talking very, very loudly, and it's sort of in control of everything. But I see you like gracefully accepting change and gracefully accepting this like moving forward that the universe wants to bring your way. Because the Three of Wands is all about expansion and growth and like adventure, or exploring new lands, exploring new territory. So yeah, I actually feel like you're going to be pleasantly surprised by what the universe has in store for you, because I feel like you'll actually find a lot of value in it. You'll actually find a lot of like comfort and beauty and meaning in it. That's this Queen of Pentacles energy. I do feel like this is talking about you, and I do feel like it is representing like this new energy, or this new thing that wants to blossom, right? And it's so interesting that I was talking about blossoming. I was feeling this flower energy so much. And on this Queen of Pentacles, you can actually see the roses, and like she is sitting in a lush garden. Everything is blooming around her. Everything is fertile, and it's alive and it's thriving. And that's why this rabbit is here as well, because it's talking of fertility and abundance. So yeah, I do see you starting to like see it or embrace that change is actually, or change can be a good thing, and really like accepting that, really breaking through that sort of lack mindset, and maybe even starting to be excited for the future again. Because whatever this thing is that you are currently still like holding on to or trying to hold on to, I feel like one of the reasons why you are clinging on to that so hard is because you are having a hard time actually believing that something better could come and sort of replace it or come in its place. And I mean, if it is a person, there's like you can't really replace a person, so don't take it in that in such a literal sense. But it's, yeah, hopefully you can kind of see what I'm trying to say here. That, you know, things can come into our lives, and we can feel these amazing feelings again, even if they are different amazing feelings. They may even be better amazing feelings than the feelings that we had for that person or for that situation that we no longer have in our lives. So yeah, I don't know. I just feel like some sort of reinstatement of like faith or trust or belief in the universe is actually a major part of this breakthrough that you are going to be going through. Yeah, allowing these new things to come into your life. So that's really amazing, pile number 2. But we also have these 3 cards here, which are Justice, King of Swords, and the Four of Wands. Now, these cards, as I said, are talking about how this breakthrough is going to be impacting you moving forward. And I feel like, especially with the King of Swords and Justice here, you can actually see how like similar they are in their poses and the way that they are sitting and the way that the swords are like poised in their hands as well. Both of these cards are very, very like rational and very much using their intellect rather than being guided by anything else. And it's all about like doing the right thing, like seeing what the right course of action is, seeing what the answer or the solution is, what the best way to go about a certain situation is. Seeing a bigger picture, basically. That's what Justice and the King of Swords are all about. And I feel like moving forward, as you break through this like lack mindset, or as you sort of allow this faith and this trust and this belief that you will have positive feelings again and beautiful things can come into your life again and you know, better things can come into your life again. As you sort of gain that mindset and as you come into this openness to new things or new experiences, I feel like moving forward, things like will actually start happening very, very quickly, because Justice is all about like cause and effect. You do something and you see the result of that. So I feel like moving forward, you will have a much more like concrete and clear and like decisive way of moving about life. The King of Swords is very like pragmatic, very smart, very wise, very knowing, and also very much ruled by his mind rather than his feelings. This right now, this energy that you're in right now is very much being ruled by feelings, again by nostalgia, by sentiment, all those types of things. Or sentimentality, I should say, with this Pisces energy, right? That's what I feel like you have really been like almost like swimming in. But it looks like you're kind of like breaking out of that and gaining a more like I don't know what the best adjective to use would be, but I feel like you're gaining a much better way or a much better method of like dealing with movement and dealing with change. It's not going to feel as like dramatic and as personal and as difficult to deal with, because the King of Swords has a solution for everything. The King of Swords is not afraid. The King of Swords understands and realizes like the bigger meaning, the bigger picture, right? As I already said, behind things. And they sort of know where their boundaries are, and they always keep a cool head. They never let themselves get like frazzled or lost in any sort of emotional drama or confusion. They always keep a clear head, and they always keep their eye on the ball. There is a vision with the King of Swords, a vision of what they want to achieve, a vision of like whether what they are doing, what they are saying is actually in accordance with what they want to achieve, or whether they are actually working at cross purposes with their goal without even realizing it. Like they can see through that stuff immediately. And that's why I feel like with Justice, things are going to start like happening a lot more quickly too. And I mean, with the Four of Wands, as I already said, the Four of Wands, you can again see all of this beautiful like blossoming wreaths that are attached to these what are they? Poles or staves or whatever. These wands, you can see how like you are going to be stepping into a lot more happiness, a lot more like abundance and belonging. I really feel that with the Four of Wands, because the Four of Wands is all about a celebration. It's all about gaining some sort of reward or result, or seeing the fruition of all of your hard work, and actually sharing it with the people closest to you, feeling that connectivity, feeling that sense of bliss and satisfaction that you get from reaching a milestone of some sort, or you know, getting something that you were really working towards or really hoping to achieve. And I do feel, especially with justice being here, that that's actually where the universe is trying to guide you. And that's why it's so important to get you to like release that old stuff that you are still holding on to, because that's not where your Four of Wands is. That's not where your happiness is. Otherwise it would still be in your life. Otherwise it would never have left. If that's what really was meant to be your sort of like end all be all, right? But because it wasn't, it was time to go. And now I see you sort of moving way more clearly, having your eye on the ball of like what it is that you actually want, what it is that you actually desire, and what you need to do, what steps will take you there, and what needs to go from your life so that you wouldn't get like clogged down or bogged down with unnecessary things, so that your progress wouldn't get thwarted, right? That those swords are very sharp and they will cut through anything. So again, that's why this like fossilized energy that is currently blocking all of this blossoming, that's why those need to go. And that's why those swords are here, so that in the future, you know, you wouldn't be halted by any like challenges or obstacles. I hope that made sense. But I really love that you are moving from the Three of Wands to the Four of Wands. Like you will actually see the results. And again, we had this sweet victory here. We had this luck message with the rabbit here too. So there is a lot of abundance. And again, the universe sort of working in your favor with the destiny card here too, which is actually in tarot, the Wheel of Fortune. So, and a lot of like master numbers too, with 22 and 11, like those are some serious numbers. And I hope that seeing these messages like encourages you to see how it's not actually that scary to leave whatever it was in the past, and that, you know, hopefully these messages will like make you believe or have more faith in the universe actually bringing you something good, something better than whatever it is that you have lost or had to let go of. But we're going to close the reading out with 2 oracle cards that are going to be advice from Spirit regarding this reading. So let's see. Okay, yeah, not surprised. We have the initiation, rite of passage, crossing the threshold. Exactly. What was I saying? And it's so crazy that you can see how like the energy that you're in right now, it's like desolate, it's dead, it's crumbling, it's like there's no life here anymore. It's all bleak and dark and black and depressing. But like the portal that you are walking through, which by the way, the Four of Wands is as well. The Four of Wands is a portal. And again, it's like promising you that if you let go, you will get to this beautiful blossoming garden, this beautiful blossoming place. You can see through this portal that there is a beautiful like blue lagoon or whatever it is, and all of these like magical purples and pinks and all of these hues that are waiting for you on the other side. There is life and vibrancy. There is something a lot better waiting for you on the other side. And we also have take a break, a life's work, not a season. Get off the treadmill. Yeah, so again, it doesn't have to be like this huge struggle and this huge battle that you're going through. Again, with the Queen of Pentacles, as I was saying, I feel this level of like acceptance and just release and just like embracing what is, right? And it's okay that it's not happening for you right now. It's okay that it's not, you know, like that you can't just switch off your emotions and those attachments that you still feel in like a heartbeat. That's fine. And I feel like that's why Spirit has specifically brought this card out, because, you know, you may be a bit hard on yourself for it, for not being able to like let go of these feelings. But I feel like you will. It just may take some time, and it just may take you like working together with the universe and allowing the universe to like bring you some things, some ideas, just something new. Again, being open-minded, right? Just allowing new things to come in, even if they look nothing like what you have envisioned for yourself. Just allow. Again, that like feminine energy, I feel like that is the main energy that needs to get like reblocked or realigned, so that you could start seeing and attracting all of these different opportunities. And when those opportunities arrive, when you're finally open to them, that's when you can align with that masculine energy and actually do something about it. Actually grab hold of those opportunities and run with them, right? Run with them to the results. So again, starting off with the feminine, with the Queen of Pentacles, that's where the first breakthrough comes from, that acceptance, and then moving to the masculine, or activating that masculine energy, realigning with that masculine energy, and actually taking the necessary steps to get to your true happiness, or, you know, your true fulfillment. But again, take it easy, allow yourself to feel what you are feeling, and gradually start opening up. It doesn't have to be like this massive challenge, okay? Just take it one step at a time. But anyway, yeah, that's it. I'm going to leave it here, pile number 2. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that it resonated. If it did, please let me know. You can leave me a comment in the comment section. You can also give me a thumbs up. That helps me out massively too. And don't forget to subscribe if you want to hang out with me in the future and see more of these readings from me. But yeah, if I don't see you in any of the other piles, please take care of yourselves, and I hope to see you very soon. Bye-bye. Hello, pile number 3. I hope that you are all very excited for this reading, or at least, you know, that you are doing well and that you are in a relatively good place. But we will see in just a sec how you are doing. The one thing I do want to point out before we get into the reading, though, is that this is still a general reading, okay? So please take what resonates and leave what doesn't. You know the drill. But yeah, having said that, let's get straight to what I'm feeling off of this card that you chose. So you chose number 37, Lifeforce. Now, number 37 reduces down to 10. 3 plus 7 is 10, and that further reduces down to number 1. So it is a cyclical energy. It's a card of endings and new beginnings, and it's it's like the same, or it's at least similar to the previous pile, which also had number 10 and number 1. But with you, because the keyword here is different, it's talking of life force. I am actually a lot more, like, feeling a lot more pull towards that new beginning aspect. Like, it doesn't feel that much related to the number 10, which is all about like culmination and ending. It's much more yeah, it's pulling me towards the number 1 aspect of this card. So I do feel like currently either you have like discovered something new, or you are like starting out with something new, like you are at the beginning stages of something, or you are thinking about initiating something, or taking something new on. Because with life force, and especially looking at this card here, whether there is like this little ball or flame, or this ball of light that is on top of her head, I feel that this is inspiration. I feel that this is like some sort of vision or goal. And it seems like your head is all lit up by this idea that has struck you. And either you are like just starting out with it, or you haven't quite begun just yet, but you are trying to like figure out how to go about taking those initial steps towards this new idea or this new goal. And it's also another thing that I'm noticing, that the woman on this card is naked. I mean, there is a very like thin sheet or veil, whatever, around her to some extent, but like mostly she's naked, and you can very clearly see through that veil that she's wearing. So it does seem that this idea or this thing that you have is like very raw, or you feel very raw and very like unprepared, or like this idea or thing that you have in your mind is not like fully formed yet. Like there's still a lot of like preparation to be done, or there are still a lot of things to figure out. But I feel like the idea or the inspiration is very clear. And it's also interesting, like the way that her arms or her hands are like positioned, it almost makes me think of like a bow and arrow. It's like she's holding a bow here, and like she's ready to release an invisible arrow that way. Like her eyes are very much fixed. I don't know if you can see it though. I'm sorry if the camera is like not really picking up the visual that clearly. But anyway, it's like she's so focused on something, and it does seem like, I don't know whether that was intentional, but that's, for some reason, I keep like visualizing this bow and arrow in her hands, which isn't there, but you know, anyway. It does seem like she's aiming towards something, but because the bow and arrow isn't there, again, it makes me feel like whatever this idea is it's just in like an idea form. It's not fully materialized into anything yet. It's like you haven't taken any physical steps toward it, or again, if you have, they are very, very minimal. It's almost like in this like preparation stage. That's what I feel here. And I also see like you trying to figure things out. It's like, it's almost like you're flailing about a bit, or like you are trying to, like you're trying to find your footing, like you're trying to find your way, because she's surrounded by all of this darkness, and the only thing really lighting her path or whatever is this little like ball of light on top of her head. And I mean, there is a crescent moon here too, but for some reason, it's a new moon, isn't it? It's a new moon. So it's, again, that's why I was feeling that this is talking about a new beginning. The new moon is here too. So yeah, it's like there's not really that much light guiding her. She's in darkness, but the only thing is this idea that she's aiming towards. So anyway, I don't know. That's what I'm feeling from this card. And if you are at all able to make sense of what I was just talking about, then keep on watching, because we are now going to dive into some more oracle cards to see what it is that you are actually currently struggling with. So these cards will give us a more detailed overview of what you're currently dealing with, and if you resonate with those messages, then this is clearly your reading. Okay, so let's see. Wow, yeah, we have 9th house exploration with number 47 reducing down to 11. So a lot of number ones coming through. Very much like divine. Number 1 is a very divine number in my eyes. But again, it's also about like initiation and starting something, new beginnings, fresh starts, all that type of thing. And I also feel it's kind of interesting that we are getting the 9th house. Now, I don't normally associate houses with astrological signs, even though that I know that a lot of, especially modern astrologers do. But it's funny that I was talking about like the bow and arrow, which is a symbol of Sagittarius in astrology. And in astrology, the 9th house is very often associated with Sagittarius as well, as like Sagittarius rules the 9th house. But again, I don't necessarily associate or like equate a house with a zodiacal sign, but you know, to each their own anyway. I just thought it was kind of a cool coincidence. Okay, we also have 5th chakra, Archangel Gabriel. And again, we have another ball of light here. This is the throat chakra, by the way. So let's get, oh, also there is a cool succession. We have number 10, we have number 11, and now with number 39, we have number 12. Let's keep going. Okay, we have the sacred journey markers. Yeah, this is sorry, I was just focusing on what this card is, but this is this says communication, and this is number 41, which reduces down to 5. Again, another card of, or similar to that throat chakra energy here. We also have number 7 with patience and planning. Oh, this is funny. And finally, we have number 68, which reduces down to 5, which says Wombat Spirit, be at home. Okay. Let me get these cards in place first, and then we'll talk about them. So pile 3. Looking at these cards, I get the sense that the thing that you have been most struggling with is actually holding your horses. Now, the reason why I say that is because a lot of these cards here are talking about stillness. They are talking about, like, exactly like I was saying, that like preparation energy, right? And I feel like you are in that preparation energy because there really isn't any like clear plan in place yet, or any clear strategy in place yet. But as I was saying, the only light on this card is this ball of flame on top of her head. So I feel like the desire in you to just like jump in, sort of almost like blind, and start doing something, because I feel like the desire to get to that point that you are so focused on is so strong that it almost doesn't even matter to you that you don't know how to get there, or that you don't have, you know, like a plan, or some sort of like direction, or like a map, you know, formed, yeah, or that you haven't worked that out. It almost feels like a fixation, or like an obsession of some sort. And again, just based on like how she's naked and everything, it just feels like you are so unprepared though. I don't know. I don't want it to sound like bad. And I know that it kind of does, but that's not really like meant in any sort of negative way. I just feel like the universe is really saying that you're not ready yet. Like you're not ready to, like make these huge strides towards wherever it is that you're going. Because right now you are meant to do this, like this pre-work, right? This preparative work, so that you could actually take purposeful and like effective movement, so you wouldn't waste energy on things and like course correcting and all those types of things. I feel like there is a lot of mistakes that you can avoid by just being focused on like setting up a clear plan and being okay with just, you know, preparing for the time being. Especially with this patience and planning and be at home, like these two cards are hitting me the hardest with the aspect of like just staying put for the time being, right? Just allowing things to like pan out a bit more, or the clarity to come about a bit more. Because again, remember, I was talking about this crescent moon, this new moon, which is almost like, let's be honest, this is like kind of a dark moon phase. So the moon is like barely visible. You can't see any light from the moon. And so I feel like the universe really wants you to wait a bit more before like actually taking steps, so that, you know, the moon could grow and that more light would be shown on your path. And so you could actually, you know, see where the path is, and you could just walk down that path, rather than like going in blind and hoping that the path that you are on will take you to where you want to go, and that you won't fall off that path. So, yeah, I feel like you're really struggling with it though. Sorry, these cards are crooked and it's driving me insane. I feel like you're really struggling with it though, because with this exploration card, like, this is a card of like adventure and discovery, right? But I do feel like there is a strong element of like learning, and I also feel that both with like communication and fifth chakra, this is very much like this is very much an energy of like talking, yes, expressing your needs and desires, yes, but also listening, right? I feel like that's that's a very important aspect of communication that people very often forget about. Communication is not communication unless you are able to receive and take in information as well, rather than just share it. And I feel like that aspect of like listening and taking in is actually the most important thing here. Taking in new information, because that's what really is going to prepare you for going down the path successfully and reaching that that goal, so that you would know what to do once you are on that path. But I feel like you are having a hard time with that because you are just so incredibly restless to just get going already. that's kind of the energy that I'm feeling here. And I do feel with this fifth chakra, Archangel Gabriel, because this is specifically a card of an archangel, right? This is a divine being. I feel like this is talking of like, and even this with the ninth house exploration, this is talking of like higher wisdom or higher learning too. This is like a perspective change type of energy here. So I feel like there is something very important that like the universe wants to communicate with you about, or that they want to tell you, so that you could be armed with this very, very necessary, useful, and vital information on your path. So I feel like that's why they don't really want you to get going just yet, because the stillness period is where you will be able to take in that necessary information the most easily. You'll be able to hear what the universe actually wants you to know, but you have to be able to listen. And I feel like, again, that's really what you are sort of struggling with right now. But I don't want to keep like going around the same message over and over, but because that's really all that I'm feeling here. It feels rather straightforward, and I kind of feel like if this is your message, you already know exactly what you are struggling with anyway, so I don't really need to go over it 1,000 times. But if this is your reading, if you're resonating with this, then keep on watching, because now we really get to the interesting part. We are going to be looking at these tarot cards, which will tell us where your next breakthrough is coming from, and also how it is going to be impacting you in the long term or moving forward. So let's see. Okay, we have the Four of Swords. Okay, good. Love seeing the Four of Swords. The Hermit. Okay, why am I not surprised that this is here? Wow, and Strength. Oh yeah. Okay. If ever there was a combo or a combination of 3 cards that would talk about like rest and stillness, I think these would pretty much be it, I feel like. So yeah. Okay, anyway, but we'll talk about them in a second. And let's see how this breakthrough is going to impact you. We have the Seven of Wands, the Sun, beautiful, and the Five of Swords. Okay. So yeah, I feel like these first 3 cards, which are talking about your next breakthrough, are actually kind of obvious, and so I probably won't have too much to say about them, because with the Four of Swords, the Hermit, and Strength, it's clear to me that your next breakthrough is going to be coming from a place of stillness. As I was already saying, I feel like the universe has some really important information to share with you, and it can only come through when you are in quietude, when you are able to take in, absorb, and really tune into that divine guidance and wisdom, which can only come from within. So the Four of Swords, the Hermit card, are just like very self-explanatory, sort of taking a respite. Is that the right word? or just like taking time off from any distractions and from any movement, and really slowing down and tuning inward, especially with the Hermit card here. Giving your mind a break, right? And allowing things to come to you. But with Strength card here, this is all about like you mastering, or you being able to overpower that desire or that impulse, that like animalistic impulse to just jump in and do it. That's what the lion here represents. That impulse, that animalistic nature, or that primal nature that all of us have, because we're human. But you do have, like, your soul aspect is a lot more powerful than your sort of human aspect. So I see you like overpowering that need or that desire, that impulse to just jump in and get going. You will be able to temper that and really sort of tune in to the wisdom that is trying to come through for you, so that you can actually move down that path with a lot more wisdom and a lot more like know-how, a lot more, just being a lot more prepared for the journey ahead, so that you could actually, again, as I said, arrive at your desired destination like successfully, quickly, without any unnecessary detours, right? That's really what I feel like the universe is trying to do for you here, even though you may be perceiving it as like the universe trying to slow you down, or like, you know, put the brakes on your vision or your goal or whatever. That's not actually the case. But again, I do see why it would feel that way. So that's really the breakthrough. I feel like it's going to be coming in like through your inner realm, through like tuning out, meditating, or getting in touch with the divine, getting in touch with your guides, just really like diving into that inner world and that like divine aspect of you. And just, again, slowing down and allowing that preparation period to happen. But now these three cards are way more perplexing to me, because we have the Seven of Wands, the Sun, and we have the Five of Swords. And these three cards are talking about how this breakthrough is going to impact you moving forward or in the future. And the Seven of Wands and the Five of Swords are both very combative energies. But in this instance, I actually feel like, especially with the Sun being here, I actually feel like these cards are talking about your ego, or again, that like primal aspect, that primal nature in you, that impulsive nature in you. Because the Strength card is a card of Leo in astrology, and the Sun is a card of the Sun, and the Sun is Leo's ruler in astrology. So these two cards are very much connected to each other. And now that I think about it, I think the Seven of Wands is also a card of Leo, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Seven of Wands is a card of Leo too. So with three of these very, very like important cards here talking about Leo, yeah, I very often associate, when it comes out in tarot, I very often associate Leo energy with like ego and pride. And again, those are not bad words, even though they do get a bad rep sometimes. We all have ego. It's a necessary part of us. It's a necessary part of the human experience, but it can't go unchecked. Otherwise, things will get very much out of control. That's what the Strength card talks about. So with the Seven of Wands and the Sun being here, I feel like this is your ego, but the Five of Swords is almost like you learning to like slap your ego in place. I'm sorry, that's like, I know that sounds so harsh, but that's really the only like expression that came to me right now. It's like when your ego tries to like sort of run away from you, or it gets too, again, like too aggressive or too intense. I feel like with the Five of Swords, it's like you will have the sort of the rationality or the know-how to like to deal with it, to put your ego in place in a way, but like in a healthy way. And I feel like that's why the sun is here, and that's why none of these cards are coming out in reverse, because it's not like a shadowy or toxic or low vibrational energy, even though the Five of Swords and the Seven of Wands, as I said, are both like combative cards, and especially the Five of Swords is almost like never spoken about in a positive sense. But in this case, I actually feel it's almost like this necessary custodian, or like a teacher, or someone who's like strict, who doesn't allow any bullshit, who maybe like uses tough love, or uses the means that are necessary to get the result that they are after, and it may be painful, and it may create some ego bruising, or there may be some slights thrown around. So yeah, your ego may definitely get bruised, but in the end, I feel like it's actually preventing you from some pain that you would otherwise experience. And it's interesting that I'm feeling very drawn to these three swords that she's actually holding. There are two swords on the ground, but the three swords that she's holding, it's making me think of the Three of Swords in tarot, which is a card of heartbreak or heartache. And so that's really what I feel like this Five of Swords is representing here. Like your, I don't know whether you want to call it like your higher self, or your guides, or just like your own divine wisdom, protecting you from like going through unnecessary pain or unnecessary disappointment or that type of thing. Even if your ego feels like super up for it and super bold and ready to face anything and everything, I feel like this Five of Swords is saying like that, if you tune into that divine aspect and really listen to that guidance and gain that wisdom and have a plan in place, you will be able to avoid those things that your ego maybe doesn't see coming, but that you will sort of be able to sense beforehand or be aware of, if you allow that like sort of quiet wisdom to come in. I hope that made sense, and I hope that it didn't get too blabby. But that's really what I feel here, pile 3, and I hope that it's not too like disappointing that the universe is kind of like halting your new beginning, especially if you are feeling that massive desire to get somewhere already, or to if you have your eye set very, very strongly on something that you very much desire to have, then it may not be the nicest to hear this sort of message. But again, I do feel like you are going to be able to get to this place of like calm and acceptance, and just allowing things to unfold, really like sort of letting go of the reins a bit, and calming your ego down a bit, or that part of you that is dying to just jump head on in, or in head first, whatever the expression is. Anyway, so yeah, that's what I see here, pile 3, but we're going to close the reading out with these 2 oracle cards from Spirit. These are going to be advice for you regarding this reading. So let's see what Spirit has to say. Wow, another sword here. Okay, we have Warrior Woman. Have you answered your deepest calling? Exactly. And oh, how crazy is this? I just noticed. With the 5th chakra, this Archangel Gabriel is actually holding a trumpet. So yeah, I didn't even mention it before. I didn't actually even really notice it before, but clearly, as I was saying, this aspect of like communication and listening to what the universe has to say to you, or what your higher self has to say to you, whoever you resonate with, is very, very important. And I feel like, yeah, the universe is kind of like tapping on your conscience a bit. Like, have you actually listened to, what your heart or your higher self or the universe is trying to say to you, or are you just sort of ignoring them and just blindly going going off of this impulse that you are feeling. Because I do feel like whatever they have to say, again, the Sword of Truth. Also, we have the Four of Swords here. We have the Five of Swords here flanking this reading. In between those two cards is the Ace of Swords, truth and victory, which you can see over here. This is the Ace of Swords here. So yeah, the universe really wanting you to tune in. And also we have boundaries. Where do you need to establish better boundaries? It's interesting because the Seven of Wands is also a card that can speak of boundaries, but for some reason I wasn't really feeling it that way in your reading, or I wasn't feeling that type of energy for you regarding your message. But it could be that, well, it kind of makes sense, doesn't it? Because we were talking about like self-restraint and like, you know, keeping a cool head and all that type of thing, like putting your ego in check. Is that, you know? Anyway, putting your ego in place at times if it tries to like run away from you, or if it gets too crazy and too out of hand. So with these boundaries card, yeah, it could be that you may need to start exercising some better boundaries, or just again keeping yourself more aligned, keeping yourself more in check. But if you feel like this is not talking as much about like your ego as it is talking about like other people's ego, because I mean, that's always a possibility as well. We don't live in a vacuum. If you feel like other people's energy is affecting you too much, or, you know, having some sort of a negative impact on you in some way, then yeah, it definitely feels like the universe is saying that, you know, you will be able to learn to like shut those external opinions or needs or projections or whatever they are, expectations on you. You will be able to like shut those out and focus much more on like your inner knowing or your inner wisdom, learning to protect yourself from that type of energy, basically, if that's what you feel like you are also struggling with, or if like if other people's energy is impacting you negatively somehow or thwarting your progress. But yeah, again, for some reason I'm not feeling that as strongly as I am feeling that this is just talking of boundaries like within yourself, learning to keep the boundaries in place, or learning to like manage your inner emotional and like spiritual landscape more. But yeah, anyway, I'm gonna leave it here, pile 3, because otherwise I feel like I'm just gonna be here talking about, you know, whatever. It's just gonna sort of get out of hand. But yeah, I do hope that this reading resonated for you, and if it did, I hope that it was useful or helpful. And I would love to hear from you. You can leave me some feedback, especially if this reading resonated. I would love to hear. You can leave me a comment down in the comment section. You can also give me a thumbs up. That helps my channel out immensely as well. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done that already. But if you would like me to keep doing these sorts of readings in the future too, these pick a card readings, if you enjoy watching them, definitely don't forget to subscribe. And yeah, that's it from me. So if I don't see you in any of the other piles, please take care of yourselves, and I hope to see you guys very soon. Bye-bye.